Oh boy, what a win this is. Jemmy, take a bow. Jemmy, what a brilliant
gem from Jemmy.
A gem from Jemmy, indeed. Jemimah Rodriguez, brilliant 53 of 38. And her partnership of 58 with Richa Ghosh, who herself had a blitz of 28 of 16. India are victors by 7 wickets against Pakistan, and they have started this T20 World Cup on a tense but very, very positive note. I mean, what a brilliant effort this was from Jemimah Rodriguez. Before the start of the match, one of our family members had asked, what is the point of playing Jemimah Rodriguez in this team?
That's answered. I don't think we need to answer that anymore.
Exactly. So, Jemimah Rodriguez, her brilliant 53 of 38 balls, and she had the winning runs.
Yes.
2 fours of Fatima Sana, and that's about it.
The winning runs.
India win by 7 wickets, and Pakistan have only themselves to blame for this for 2 reasons. Number one was that their ground fielding. Forever, Pakistan's perennial problem, be it the men and the women, their fielding. Pakistan men, their catching has been woeful. In the women's case, their outfielding was really, really bad. They let go.
At least with India, the women's team, I would say, the first thing that we saw, India's fielding was it was a mixed bag, if you ask me. We saw some moments of brilliance in the outfield. We saw a catch dropped as well in the outfield. It was mixed, but with Pakistan again, it was very uninspiring, let's say, in the field.
Absolutely, and remember, they had a very, in the last couple of overs, Pakistan's fielding absolutely went haywire.
Yeah.
Some balls should have been stopped near the boundary, the shots should have been stopped, but it just couldn't happen. And worst case, whenever the ball was in the air, they were either away from it or they just couldn't get close to it.
Yeah.
But Pakistan were in the hunt until the 18th over. They needed 1 over, India.
A quick update for everyone watching though. Jemmy, by the way, is your man of the match as well.
The player of the
match.
Absolutely.
Player of the match.
But ideally, if you have to look at it, Pakistan were in the hunt until the 18th over. Ayman Anwar had the task to just concede probably 7 or 8 runs because Nashra Sandhu had bowled so brilliantly.
Yeah.
She didn't concede a single boundary, took 2 for 15, and it continues a good run because remember, Nashra Sandhu had taken 8 wickets in that Asia Cup women's encounter. She had taken 8 wickets in the whole tournament and she was brilliant. But Ayman Anwar, you had deep point. You had point and short third man.
Yeah.
There was no one in deep point, there was no one at third man.
Loose bowling.
You bowled 2 wide balls, Richa Ghosh.
3 boundaries, 3 back-to-back boundaries. That's where the tide actually turned.
It turned.
You knew from that point on that Pakistan will not be able to come back into this match now. Remember, you needed about 15 odd runs of 14 deliveries, but you got to that point only because you had those back-to-back boundaries.
Absolutely. And Richa Ghosh, her 3 fours, 2 through point and 1 through extra.
Those were identical balls that you saw. Loose, outside the off, again, not the right field set for that kind of a delivery.
Yes. And that's where Bisma Maroof got it wrong. And Ayman Anwar, the 31-year-old from Lahore.
I would say the bowler got it wrong, I would say. Because the field was pretty clear. Because you probably were looking at, bowling in the block hole, but then it was wide. There was no fielder on the offside. So you can't be bowling. That can't be the plan.
You had to bowl stump to stump.
Yes.
If Ayman Anwar had bowled stump to stump, and remember, most of India's batters in that position, look at Nashra Sandhu, for example. She was bowling stump to stump.
Yes.
India's batters just could not get going. But unfortunately, what happened? The other bowlers just could not step up on their given day. Because if you have to look at it, look at where Nashra Sandhu's analysis stands out. Okay.
Yeah.
2 for 15. And if you have to look at it, Fatima Sana, unfortunately the youngster, she got 0 for 42 in 4 overs.
But then what? She had an average of 10, I guess.
Yes, economy rate of 10.
Economy of
Nida Dar, she also had no backup, 9. You had Ayman Anwar, 11, unfortunately. Sadia Iqbal, what was her thing? Left arm orthodox, stump to stump.
Yeah.
And you have to also admit, Pakistan got a little bit unlucky because one of the deliveries in which Richa Ghosh was plumb LBW. The glove saved her. Feather of a glove. And that is why it is evident. But I would rather, just being the devil's advocate, rather than Jemimah Rodriguez, kind of a lock of 28 of 16. I think you should have given the player of the match award to Richa Ghosh for one reason. Jemimah got the confidence to accelerate only because Richa Ghosh at the other end had opened up. And remember, she was the one taking the risks. So Richa Ghosh was taking the risk, and luckily Ayman Anwar missed her length not once, not twice, but three times. Hat trick of boundaries, and that was the key reason why she managed with those three boundaries. 28 of 16 gave Jemimah Rodriguez enough of that comfort zone to ensure that she would hit those two boundaries, find the gaps, and score the winning runs at this point in time. But remember, this is a very, very important thing if you have to look at it going into the World T20 when you look at Jemimah Rodriguez as well. Jemimah is not a power hitter. Let us make it very, very clear. She can up her power game.
Like she did today, one would say. Like she did today. But she'll take her time.
She will take her time. And remember, you had Yastika Bhatia, you had Harmanpreet Kaur fall in rather quick succession. So that is why.
And you saw Maruf at the other end do the exact same thing. Unless she got the support from Aisha, she was not firing. She wasn't firing because, like we were saying in the mid-show as well, some 40 odd runs of 42 deliveries. That's actually not the kind of strike rate you want to see in the game, because you're just playing, run a ball.
But I think the fair decision has been made that Jemimah Rodriguez has been given the player of the match because she was the one who ensured she kept India in the hunt. And so this is how the summary of the match has been so far. Okay, it was a case of two very, very similar, if you may want to say, kind of innings that both Pakistan and India played. Pakistan's top order collapsed. They were at 9 overs. They were 50 for 3. Then it needed an 80 plus run partnership from you may say from Aisha Naseem and Bisma Maruf. So those two individuals managed to stitch a partnership. 5 overs, you may say 58. Okay, 5 overs for 58, and that's what they get to 149. In response, Yastika Bhatia and also, if you may say, the others, Shefali also, I would say. Yes.
33 runs. 33 quick fire runs, I would say. Now, some 25 odd deliveries, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly. So that is why I may have to say
a good performance, I would say. On the whole, you'd be satisfied. Yes, you could say it was a tense match, a tense finish, and there's nothing wrong with there being a tense finish, I would say, or a close finish. You are always in the game and you're finishing with a complete over to spare.
Absolutely.
In T20 cricket, that's a big margin, by the way.
That is a big margin.
On top of that, 7 wickets. So, yes, of course, the scoreboard, when you look at the timeline of events, you would say that, okay, Pakistan were also in it fully, but then look at the margins over here. 7 wickets and a 1 over buffer as well.
1 over buffer. And again, this was the kind of knock that had to redefine Jemimah Rodriguez. Because even heading into this T20 World Cup, there were questions asked about her. Jemimah Rodriguez, let us make it very, very clear, in that Commonwealth Games final against Australia, she and Harmanpreet Kaur had stitched together a very, very important stand. When Jemimah fell to Megan shoot, the game was thrown open. And when Harmanpreet tried that lap sweep, that's it. It just opened the floodgates up, and India, a game that they could very well have won, they collapsed and they lost by 9 runs to settle for silver in the Commonwealth Games. Remember, the same kind of situation, Jemimah could have gone for a big hit, but she bade her time. And remember, this was as close to a pressure situation as it can be. This is where one of the positives for the Indian cricket team is come up in this World T20 first game. High pressure against Pakistan. You have shown through.
You've shown, and what you've also done is you've displayed qualities of let's say, being a sponge. Let's say. You soaked everything in. And in such situations, you really need to be that sponge at times. And for a youngster like Jemimah to do that. Yes, she's got a lot of international experience and whatever. Let's not forget, she's still a youngster.
She's a youngster, and boy, off the field, she's a brilliant dancer and singer.
She's a superstar.
Superstar in the making. I mean, if you want it, you need such players in the Indian cricket team. And remember, when she was dismissed in the Commonwealth Games final, the anger that she had shown to herself, it was very, very rare. Because Jemmy is a very calm customer. And showing that anger, you realized how important that was. Big occasion. And remember, no team beats Australia very frequently. Once you get an opportunity, you have to capitalize on it. But remember, Pakistan, they made it very difficult for themselves by not fielding well and not bowling well at the death.
Yeah.
Ayman Anwar, unfortunately, 31-year-old, she's had experience in the international level, but unfortunately, pressure can do very strange situations to individuals. And that's why Ayman Anwar wilted under the pressure. Fatima Sana, unfortunately, with the
Very
game
expensive
lost,
on the day.
very expensive. And remember, Richa Ghosh took a liking to her, and Richa Ghosh really took into the attack. And
But she struggled. One thing we need to talk about Richa Ghosh is, yes, of course, towards the end she gave the kind of fillip that you wanted. But she was struggling when she came in. Let's not forget, she was trying to sweep the ball so often.
Yes.
And that half an opportunity that came towards Pakistan, got that little glove, again was trying to sweep.
Yes.
So initially she wasn't able to connect the ball. So she took her time today. And maybe I just felt in the beginning she was a little over-reliant on the sweep shot because she tried a couple of times, got beaten. But again, that's what good players do. You assess yourself, you got to know it's not working out for me. You try new things.
There is a trend in Richa Ghosh's batting. I mean, it was evident even in the Asia Cup when I had seen her. Richa Ghosh, what happens is she kind of is a slow starter. She wants to be aggressive right from the word go because that's her natural instinct. But if you have to look at it, if she gets by the first over, then she basically gets into her groove, and when pacers are bowling, it becomes easier for her. Because if you looked at it in that, even in the Asia Cup and even in the Australia match, who was bowling? It was primarily the medium pacers, and she had survived an over. Yeah. After that, she decided to open up. And it was her big hitting in the Asia Cup that kept India in the hunt. But unfortunately, Pakistan had held their nerves much better, and they won by 13 runs. And in the Australia game, it was Richa Ghosh's clean hitting against the Australian pacers. She had survived overs of spin. And that is why I think what she can do is change her template a bit, maybe go for the ones and the twos. Yeah. Take a leaf out of Jemmy's book. Like she managed to maneuver the gaps and then finally open up. Yeah. But then at one point in time, you have to realize that if you try to curb Richa Ghosh's natural instinct, it may backfire. Yeah. Because after this, you had no batting basically. You are basically having anchors like Deepti Sharma and Harleen Deol. Yeah. So it would have been a tall task. So it is a redemption story of a kind for two of the under-19 World Cup stars. Yeah. Shefali Verma and Richa Ghosh. Both had struggled in the games. And in that entire World Cup, she was really a big problem. But now Shefali Verma set up with 33 of 25 and Richa Ghosh there in the end, and that 58 run stand with Jemimah Rodriguez has ensured that India have gotten their campaign off to a great start.
They are now second on the table, by the way.
And they will face the West Indies.
Yeah, in 3 days' time, they play West Indies. And as of now, it's a good start to the tournament for Team India, for the women in blue. They're second on the table though, level on points with England.
Yes.
But England having a superior net run
Remember,
rate. It's upwards of 2 if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And India have a net run rate of 0.50 as we speak.
Yes. So I will take a couple of comments like what Jemimah Rodriguez had to say, the player of the match. She said, I knew building partnerships, taking it deep, we'd end up chasing. Richa and I have built a partnership against Bangladesh and we could do this today. Yes, even in the Asia Cup, she was the one who started, Jemimah Rodriguez. And even in the warm-ups, she had done it. And we could do this today. This innings is really special to me. I haven't been getting runs for a while. Absolutely. That's why there was a call as to why Jemimah Rodriguez is needed. And Sarat Chandra Yalamati, one of our family members, had said, yes, I'm glad that I'm proven wrong. Good on you, Sarat Chandra. God is grateful, he takes care of it. I want to dedicate this to my parents. They are here at the stadium. Oh, Jemmy, what a brilliant moment this is. This now goes out to them. We just needed 10 and over. We were going over by over. We knew they would bowl a loose ball, so that is what we had to punish. Yeah. So Jemimah is also calculating as to which bowler she could target. And luckily, Richa Ghosh targeted Ayman Anwar and she could target Fatima Sana. We knew we'd win if we stayed till the end. We are happy we have won. This momentum is on our side. Now, Bisma Maroof. We were in the game all the time, but they played really well. We made mistakes with the ball. Yeah. That was the key point in that. We will try to be better in the next game. So, Pakistan, they have missed a golden chance actually, because had Ayman Anwar held her nerve, she could have at least ensured India would have to fight until the very last ball.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. In the end, as you said, a big margin of victory.
Yeah.
You just look at the scorecard.
See, in a few weeks' time from now, when we talk about this game, you'll only be looking at the scorecard.
But they will not know that it was quite a tense
Yes.
affair until the 18th
Yes.
over.
Yes.
And what did Harmanpreet Kaur have to say? Pakistan batted well, but he wanted to win, and Jemmy and Richa played really, really well. We are keen to do well for the team. We would love to spend some time and sort out the things we didn't do well. So what is the problem?
Which would be, exactly what I want to talk about. What do you think was that one box or two boxes which we didn't click today?
Okay, the first major box that I would like to say is improve a bit on the ground fielding. There were some misfields that were done today which shouldn't have happened, and considering that India is a far superior outfield team than Pakistan, this shouldn't have happened. Second, your middle overs bowling has to be very, very penetrative.
Yes.
That is one
Yes.
thing, because you have to show discipline, and that is something Renuka Singh lacked in the death overs. They and Pooja Vastrakar will have to step up, because Rajeshwari Gaikwad, Radha Yadav, they stepped up today.
Yeah.
And box number 3 I have to click on is discipline from the pacers, especially Renuka Singh. A 16-run over in an 18-run over in the 16th over.
Yeah.
A team like Pakistan or the West Indies may not capitalize on it, but
in
better teams
Australia,
like Australia,
yes.
England, New Zealand,
Yes.
maybe South Africa,
That's what I
they
was
may make you pay.
coming to as well. That for me, if you, of course, when you look back at this game, yes, there are a few positives, but yes, it wasn't like the perfect game, as against the margins would suggest, a team performance and whatnot. But again, you could have been clinical, I felt, and like you said, because you allowed an 81-run partnership, and there weren't any chances created, by the way.
Yes.
It's not like, there were catches dropped. Yes, there was one right towards the end, but by then the partnership had already touched about 70 runs.
Yes.
So you need better bowling in the middle overs, and you need to stick to the plan, because the field was set for the ball to be bowled short, but the ball was bowled wide. So again, you need to execute your plans a little better, because clearly, and Harman was angry, yes, because the field was set for that short ball, and two back-to-back balls were bowled, outside the off stump.
Yep.
So that is something you need to look into, because yes, you probably got a little lucky on the day, I would say, but teams like England and Australia, who have nerves of steel, by the way, and we know that very well.
Yep.
We've
And
been on
India
the receiving
will make
end.
You pay, and they will make you pay.
Yes, so
basically, you need discipline in the middle overs, and you need to ensure, because India have kind of struggled in major events when it comes to the middle overs.
Yes.
And you looked at it, even the T20 World Cup, the opening partnership changed the game, but then they came back strong in the middle overs. That's how you could restrict them. If you come back strong in the middle overs, then you have a chance to restrict them. So that is how the game has spanned out. India versus Pakistan. India have gotten off the mark in the T20 World Cup with a 7-wicket win. But if you look at the scorecard, you'll say it was a convincing win. No, it was a tense win indeed.
But nothing wrong with that. We must also say we're not being critical of it.
Yeah.
But you have these tense matches as well.
Exactly.
And what better match than to have a tense game against your fiercest rivals.
And
So-
Janaki Raman, let's take some comments from our family members. Guys, update on Smriti Mandhana. Okay, Smriti Mandhana had missed this game against Pakistan because of finger injury that she sustained in the warm-up game against Australia. Now, it has been earlier, it was reported that Smriti Mandhana might miss the T20 World Cup altogether. But
That's not the
now,
case.
that might not happen. I think she could be fit for the England game at max. Because she was out warming up today and practicing, so that is a very positive sign.
It is a positive sign. In fact, there are some reports which aren't ruling out her participation in the West Indies
game also.
Yes.
Okay, so that
West
will be a
Indies
big
game,
big
which I think is in 3 days' time. And we saw Harmanpreet, Smriti Mandhana in the dugout today. She was very much cheering for the team today. She was wearing something, a bandage of sorts in her middle.
A ring or a finger brace or something which ensured that she would not get injured.
Exactly. So could be that the finger's still a little sore maybe because of the injury. But
and who will she replace? If Smriti Mandhana comes back, then Yastika Bhatia sits out, unfortunately. So that is why. Akash
But Yastika, I would say, did her job today. She got some runs at the top.
And
of
she was
course,
aggressive.
It would have been, yes, exactly. It would have been a good headache to have had she, gone on to score a 40.
But it's simple. If Mandana switch, she automatically slots
absolutely.
back.
But as team management, as the team, maybe you want everyone to get runs, as simple as that.
Yep.
Because it's just assurance. It's added assurance
Yes.
if you know that the number 2 as well,
Yep.
or somebody who's lower in the pecking order, also is capable of getting me runs if asked to.
Okay, so Kunsinero is like telling us Harman told Smriti will be back at the next game of the toss. Oh, so that is a good thing then. That is a very, very good thing. Then, do India stand a chance in winning World Cup? Guru Karthik Sai. Okay. Honestly, my gut instinct and just looking at
What's your
everything,
prophecy?
No.
No?
They are reaching the semi-finals at max, but I don't see them winning the World Cup. With this current form that they are in, very patchy. Because today, yes, they won, but it was very patchy.
Yeah.
You need all-round clinical displays from everybody.
Yeah.
And that is why only one team has that at this point in time, and that's Australia. England also, maybe they are more determined this time, because remember, they lost the ODI series against India. They lost the Commonwealth Games playoff.
Yeah.
So that is why they will be determined to ensure that. I think it is going to be an Australia, will definitely be in the final, I think. Who will be the second team? Maybe one of England or India. But for that, if India finish second, oh boy, they'll face Australia.
Australia in the semi-final.
And if India finish first, hoping that they do, then they probably will face New Zealand or South Africa.
Then in this group, then of course I'd say India now have things in their own hands as to where they finish. Because if you beat England, you get a chance to go top.
Absolutely. That England game on the 19th will be the trigger, will be the key. And any preview on WPL auction, what a day to players 2 minutes before the auction. Janaki Ramana, we'll be having updates on the WPL auction as well, all along. Begins at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. So let's see who goes for big bucks. There is the likes of Harmanpreet, Smriti, Shefali Verma, Richa Ghosh, Renuka Singh, Meghna Singh. All those individuals are in the 50 lakh base price range. And of course, legends like Alisa Healy, Deandra Doughton, Sophie Devine, Sophie Eccleston, Catherine Brunt-Skiver, all are there. So yes, Kunsinero WPL auction is tomorrow. And Akash Bardaj asking, new venue for test, Rajkot or Indore? Yeah, for better facilities, and I've got an MP bias, Indore. And it's India's fortress. They've not lost many matches there. I would say Indore, come on, hold it at the Holkar Stadium. It's a brilliant stadium with excellent facilities. Hold it at the Holkar Stadium. Rajkot
was also a good stadium.
It's like the Lords, but
yes, you recently had the first match there.
It's too far from the city centre. Too far. It's on the way towards.
But good stadium.
Very good stadium.
Good stadium.
Yeah, with good facilities. I will agree with that. So. That's about it that we have from this game. RCB coaching staff announced, we'll come to that soon. We'll come to that soon. Because tomorrow will be the WPL Australia versus India build-up we will be doing for the Delhi test, and also there's the WPL auction. Let's see who goes for big bucks tomorrow. So join us tomorrow, folks, for all the latest updates on Sports Today. Press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And don't forget, tap that bell icon to know when we go live. We'll also be back for India versus West Indies Women's T20 World Cup on the 15th. Do join us for that. Thank you. Bye-bye.